solder up your ray gun, print some Hasware in your dad's garage, grab your hoverboard, and watch out for meta-terrestrials as you try to make a name for yourself in the highly competitive punk rock world of interdimensional action sports. This is Slugblaster.
Every day, dice roll, quick adventure calls, walking through tabletops, golden halls. Masters of pen and paper, RPGs of every flavor, talking about different creators. The choice of games is never greater. Come with us to games they run through, new, old, and interesting.
Welcome in, Masters of Pen and Paper, episode 32.
Woo!
32.
32 episodes. We're killing it.
We have me, the guy, Finney, and my man.
DG, how are you all doing? We got, this is an exciting one. I've never heard of this game before.
I hadn't
at
heard
all
of it either.
And you were like, hey, how about we do this one? Yeah, on a whim. And I was like, yeah, sure. Okay, I'll look into it. Based on the title alone, I assumed that this was like a sci-fi kind of adventure game.
I thought it was completely different as well.
Boy, oh boy, was I incorrect, because Slugblaster has nothing to do with slugs or blasting. And it's actually like a futuristic skateboarding game.
It's got a little bit of blasting.
There's some blasting, but I mean...
Yeah, but...
It's not a center focus by any means.
No. And I had wanted to do this earlier, but because of what it is, we had to do Blades in the Dark first, because, spoiler alert, this is a Blades in the Dark hack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know you guys. You know we're fanboys of John Harper, but
we're gonna have to rename this to Masters of John Harper. You know?
Yeah, we really are. We should send him a note thanking him for all of our content.
Calling this a Blades in the Dark hack almost feels like a disservice to a point, because it really is its own thing. Like, yeah, it uses the game system, but honestly, I don't think these games could be further from each other.
Well, and that's why I figured we should do a separate episode on, not just say, oh, by the way, this is a hack of Blades in the Dark, go find it, play it, whatever.
Because there is lots of Blades in the Dark hacks.
Yeah, but this is big enough and different enough that I figured, why not do a whole episode on it, because it's so cool.
Very cool.
This.
Yeah, such a cool game. Eye-catching cover on the book as well.
All of the art,
incredibly colorful. The art's really good in this game. But you were saying this guy is like a local-ish, right?
So
like
Mikey Ham wrote this.
Okay.
He's a support worker with a side gig of making great games. Mm-hmm. He lives in Edmonton, which is insanely close to us.
We'll call it local. We'll call it local.
With his wife and 2 kids, and that's his presence on the internet.
So he just kind of came out of nowhere and dropped this game.
He
right?
did. He came out of nowhere. He dropped this game on us, and he's been making a few more since then.
Sure.
This one was the big one that just popped it out,
blew up,
set it down. He's like, mic drop, boom, Mikey out.
Yeah, and I was watching, so in prep for making the podcast, I was watching a few videos and reading a few things, trying to learn a little bit. He said that this game came from inspiration from his own life of like working in a skate park and like the world of skateboarding and stuff like that. And I thought like that's really cool. Like you can tell that he's poured quite a bit of personal life into this game, and it really comes out, that's
so cool. I did not catch that part. That was awesome.
Yeah, and with using Blades in the Dark as like the backbone system makes a ton of sense because of how story driven Blades in the Dark is, right? And how story focused it is. So it's a perfect merger between these two games, which is really cool.
Nice. So what is Slugblaster? We've told you what it's not and what it kind of is, but it's a game about teenagehood, some giant bugs, circuit bent ray guns, hoverboard tricks, and just that vibe of trying to be cool,
trying to be
as
the
your
cool
teenager,
kids,
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
In that same video I was talking about with the interview with Mikey Ham, the person who was hosting the video had described Slugblaster as like Rick and Morty pro skater, or Dungeons and Dragons meets Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, right? Like,
that's cool,
right?
Yeah,
like, because
yeah.
you're dimensional hopping, you've got this kind of teenage drama mixed in, the concept of like growing up and getting old, and having fun when you're young, and it's really cool. It's incredibly in depth. When you look at the cover on this book, it doesn't represent how deep this game actually is. Like, it's crazy,
and like it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So slug blasting, as per the book, is an action sport. It's a meta-dimensional and cross between skateboarding, motocross, free running, urban adventuring, and anything else where you kind of go hard, get hurt.
Yeah, for sure.
Parkour.
Yeah, cool teenager sport stuff.
Yeah, cool Pete.
Think
teenager
X
stuff,
Games,
and
but way better, bigger, and interdimensional.
It's been a hot minute since I've been a teenager, but I still remember.
Yep.
So you're a teenager, you're going through all this, through the entire thing. Sluggers are the kids building nuclear reactors in their garages, building their gear with the stuff from the dark web,
Mm-hmm.
taking pride in their gear, and they're pushing the boundaries to make it look and be the coolest thing that they can make.
Mm-hmm.
It's about growing up political, it's in your face, and it's about that really cool point in time where you're trying to figure out just who you are.
Mm-hmm. You think you're invincible,
going to be.
bulletproof.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And then your parents find out what you've been doing and haul you back to your decontamination facility.
That's right. Yeah, there's parts of this game where it's like, we'll get into a lot of it, but there's like a fact, like your parents, some of the like church groups think that this is like satanic kind of thing, right? Like there's the police, there's like the schools, there's all of this kind of stuff in there. And you're a teenager just trying to balance things out, and that's really cool. I love the concept of it. I truly ultimately like that the fact that this game is not like just combat focused. Like we're going in, we're fighting things, and then we're coming out, right? Like,
it's about existing and how we get to places
with a focus on the story.
Yeah. Because of the backbone of Blades in the Dark, which is always story first, mechanics later. Again, of course, RP heavy, right? We're gonna need a lot of work with the old improv bone here.
Yeah, and the book's gonna give you prompts. Like you're not left on your own here. But you're going to need to kind of flex those imagination muscles a little bit to help tell that story.
And with that being said, I mean, DG, let's just get to it.
Just like let's break down this board down to the trucks and the screws and let's see,
wheels.
And the wheels. Let's see what kind of board we've got here. That's the best I got. I'm old. I'm sorry. I apologize, but that's all I got.
You're doing better than I was. I was going to lift the hood and check under, see what's underneath.
Yeah, we got to lift the hood of this hoverboard and see what makes it tick.
The game is broken out into episodes and seasons, and so episodes are your sessions, seasons being the campaigns. Each episode is made up of a run and a downtime. You're looking at about 2 to 4 hours per episode, which with about 5 to 10 episodes per season.
Yeah. Think of it like set up
Your
like a
mileage
TV show,
may vary.
right? Like, like we're creating the CW drama shows for teenagers kind of thing.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
You have your day's session where you're going to do stuff, and then those sessions all come together into like a season finale of sorts.
Yeah, exactly. There's a really, really cool flow circle on page 13 that outlines how the game works from the run to the disaster to the cleanup to the downtime to picking the run, the refresh, and back on the run again. It is slick.
Yeah, I love that.
You can point at where you are every step of the way, and it just comes right back around.
It just like at a glance you can see how the session's going to work, right? Like you can see how things flow into each other, and you're like, okay, yeah, I understand how this game works, and you can build the details out from there.
Exactly. Speaking of details,
Yeah.
here's a big one.
Okay, I'm listening.
A major detail of this.
Yep.
The PCs and the enemies don't actually have stats. We don't roll for stats. We don't pick stats. There are no stats.
No stats.
In this game.
Strength gone. Dex gone.
Yeah.
Constitution? Nah. We're good. We don't need any of this stuff.
Yeah, exactly. We're vibe coding.
We're
here,
vibe.
right?
Yeah, and
that's the thing we say, right?
Exactly. Yeah, and the intention behind that, from what I understand, because the game is more about resource management, so there's stuff that you handle. There's trouble and there's injuries and there's all this other stuff.
Yeah.
The intention is to make it so that you're not limiting yourself, right? Because like you want to do cool stuff. You want to, we said earlier, right? Like you're trying to be cool. You're trying to get stuff accomplished, and they don't want a scenario where you don't have enough dexterity to do what you're trying to do. So all of that is gone. There is no stats. There are no skills. These are things that you're going to say, I'm going to do this, and you'll do that. Because that's just how it works, right? There's obviously some pros. There's ways that this stuff works, but at the end of the day, all the people do all the cool things.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you can't shoot a ray gun if you don't have a ray gun.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
there's got to be a semblance of realism here.
You can't Kamehameha, right?
Right.
I mean, maybe you can.
Hey, unless if the GM allows it, it is what it is. But,
exactly.
But yeah.
There are certain limitations, but basically whatever you think you can do, you probably can do, right? And it's up to the GM to interpret that, including the roll. And we'll get into the roll and what dice we're using. 1 minute.
It's coming.
1 minute.
We're like right there.
Yeah. They'll interpret that and they'll say, well, okay, you get such and such. Does this okay, and you didn't roll that great, so this happens as well. And that's how this all works together and makes this story unfold in front of everyone. And
just like it was in Blades in the Dark, right? Like when we talk the dice system, it is 100% exactly out of Blades in the Dark, which is a very simple mechanic, right? Like there's not a lot of difficulty there. You're going to roll some dice because you've got a pool of them. You roll them, you add whatever modifiers if you have any. You're looking for 6s. 4s and 5s are okay. 3 and less, not so cool.
I don't even think there's modifiers in this game.
There's a couple spots where you can like kick it or boost it, I think it's called in this game.
Yeah.
But though
hardly.
it's kept simple intentionally.
Pretty basic.
And the whole purpose is to give you the runway that you need in order to do what you need to.
Exactly. So like we said, actions are based on your rolls, and you re-roll D6s because Blades in the Dark, D6s, it's built on it.
Yeah. And we're only talking about cool stuff, right? Like if you're just like literally going from point A to point B, there's no rolls there. You just do it, right? You want to do something epic? That's a dice roll.
Unless there's a chance of something bad happening.
That's right. Yeah.
You just do it.
Yeah. It just happened.
Yeah. Same as with Blades in the Dark.
It's identical. Yeah.
The exact same. 6s are your great successes. There's no downside. 4s and 5s are okay, but there's a little bit of issues. 1 to 3, there's a problem. We don't even move forward through this.
Yeah,
game.
you've kind of bungled up that roll. Something bad's about to happen. Yeah, we'll get into problems in a moment here.
Exactly.
All of these things are things that matter.
Yeah. And this is where the GM will describe the impact and the problems. Don't worry, we'll talk about impacts and problems in a hot second. You know the role.
But something cool about this game is that this is not a game master GM.
No, I misspoke. Yes, it's not the game master.
Not a game master.
It's a game moderator.
That's right. Every game's a little bit different. It's still a GM.
Everyone's got to have their own shtick.
But I like that I like this change, even though it's just by title.
I do.
The reason why I like this change is because just like Blades in the Dark, our GM is not telling the story.
No, our GM is not even steering the story.
They're just moderating
He is there
it.
to moderate roles.
They're refereeing.
That is it.
That is it.
and then they put some problems in front of you and see how the story evolves, and everybody jumps to the left field from there.
We're rolling dice. The dice will tell the story ultimately. That is how this works.
That's right. Rolls can be boosted, which adds a 1d6, or they can be kicked to increase the potential impact with points that you have to spend to get a little better odds or better results.
Yeah.
You can also use a dare, which gives you the benefit of, if you let the GM give you a somewhat downside, you get a bump in gaining stuff.
I think one of them was like, you can gain an extra d6 if the GM also gains a d6 or something like that, right?
Yeah,
There was like a couple spots where it basically was like a trade-off almost, right?
It's basically a deal with the GM that lets you get an advantage as well as the GM getting something in return, or for you having a more extreme encounter.
Exactly.
I wanna say
it was like you get plus 1d6 to an action roll if you let the GM gain 1 bite, right?
Yeah.
Like there's stuff that's like, balances, but you might need that extra d6. Maybe you're trying to do something and you absolutely need it. This was the same as making a deal in Blades in the Dark, I think it was called, or something like that.
I think, the Devil's Deal,
something like that.
Yeah. If you happen to be unlucky enough to roll and receive a problem, they come in the form of either a snag or a slam.
Yep.
Snags are twists and turns that make the situation more dangerous or complicated, like an alarm going off or the building collapsing. Slams are lingering problems that directly affect your body, mind, spirit, or gear. If you're slammed, there's handy little boxes at the bottom of your character sheet to mark these down.
Yep.
If they do clear up at the end of the run during the cleanup phase, so you don't have to worry too much about them. But during the run, they're going to cause you a little bit of issues.
Maybe you stubbed your toe or something, and now you're going to have a problem balancing on your board properly or something.
Yeah. These slams may cause you additional complications through your runs. Be careful. But you do have the option of noping a slam. Yep. You basically say nope, and it lets you describe something really cool that your character does to avoid the slam, but you do end up marking 2 trouble down for this. So now trouble is
it's next. We're right there.
Yeah. It's just speaking of trouble, in addition to that, there are various systems in play during the game that are counting against you. Now, trouble starts stacking throughout the run as you take dares, nope, slams, etc. And if you mark off your 8th trouble box, disaster strikes. Now, this disaster is up to them as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
They kind of decide what comes in that form.
Yeah. Yeah, a couple more things. Basically, it's the disaster's made like near the end of the run. So that is like we're on our way out. We're 99% out. We're on our way out here. And disaster can add additional complications to your run, right? It can also come up in special situations, but the most likely scenario is that disaster's on your way out. If you filled, in this case here, where you filled up all 8, that's where it was like, whatever's going on, something bad is about to happen, kind of thing, right?
The cops show up as you're trying to make your way home from stealing whatever.
And it's a table you roll on, right? This doesn't mean 100% it's going to be bad, but the likelihood is it's probably not going to be good news. So you clear these by spending it on beats during downtime. Beats are our vices from Blades in the Dark. Kind of.
It's just something to cool off and gain back.
The way, and we'll get in, because beats is very unique to Slugblaster, so we'll get into some of the specifics there. But basically, the beats themselves are things that you'll spend. You've got various beats for various prices. So you'll buy a storyline piece, and you'll run that out, and at the end of that storyline, it'll say, clear 1 disaster, or clear 1 trouble, clear whatever, right? As part of that piece, right? And that is how Blades in the Dark did with their vices. You would do your downtime acts, you would go and do whatever. That's kind of how this part of it works. Not all the beats are like that, but there are beats like that.
Okay. Yeah. We also have Doom. Doom represents scars and debts on this insane hobby. All the things you don't forget about that follow you as you grow up. Like, the old knee injury that keeps acting up, the therapy that you're going to need eventually because, hey, if you don't think you do, you do.
That's right. Yes, exactly. Yeah, you saw something that you can't unsee, and you're going to be sitting in a therapist chair talking about it 20 years from now, kind of thing.
We do get fractures. These represent growing apart from your friendship and crew, not actual bone
we're not
fractures.
talking bone fractures here. That would be trouble. That would also be slams and potentially disaster.
Exactly.
This is different.
Friendship fractures.
That's right. People growing apart.
You are growing apart, and it sucks, but it does happen. Your crew takes a fracture, and when all the fractures are fracture boxes, are full, you break up. That gives everyone one doom, and one or more of the PCs need to leave the crew. You can clear it with certain downtime beats or challenges, but hot dang, that sucks.
Yeah, and Doom and Legacy, which we'll talk about shortly here, are the things that decide your epilogue. So at the end of your story, you're going to take these Dooms and the legacy that you've earned along the way, and they're going to help craft out what became of you after the story has ended, kind of thing.
Any character on any dice roll in the game, the second before the dice are rolled, can yell out, "Check it," which will have the person now need to incorporate a trick into whatever they were doing. If you succeed, you're going to get a style point. Now, we'll get into style points in a second. But if you fail, it's going to be worse because you were showboating. Risk versus reward. It's a slippery slope. That's
right. Yeah. So basically, you're just going to be like, all right, I grab my bag, I grab my board, and I go to leave the house and check it. I'm gonna kickflip off my stairs, but you miss the roll, so you kickflip and you miss and you face plant into the sidewalk, right? Or you make it, and that girl that you like is standing on the sidewalk, and they notice you, and you skate away. Feeling like a hero for the rest of the day. Yeah. So that's kind of how that piece works. Very cool. Love that concept.
I love that mechanic. Yeah. Speaking of all that, the crew system is here from Blades in the Dark. So we get a crew.
That's right.
And your crew is got its own kind of character.
Yeah, it's just like it was in Blades of the Dark. Same idea.
Just like because I mean we've got rival factions we've got factions we're friendly with, stuff like that. It's a whole thing.
We've got our friend group, right?
Well, because we're cliquey. We're teenagers. We're cliquey.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we've got our crew. They do stuff. We're all working together. Sometimes we might not be working together. And so the crew is here, and they also get a character sheet, and they have their own stat points and everything. Exactly like Blades in Dark. Right. If you want to go in depth about the crew, we did that in the last episode, in episode 31. So do make sure to go back and check that out, because we do go over a lot. Yeah. We're skipping over a little bit of the guts of the system, because we literally just went over that in the previous episode.
And you guys know the podcast by now. If you haven't, welcome in. Please go back to episode 1. Come check back later. But we don't cover everything, because that'd be silly. We don't read books to you guys. We tell you what's in there. So after covering all the bad stuff, let's talk about some of the cool stuff that happens, the good things that happen. So first off, we have style points, which are earned by doing tricks, using traits and style bonuses, and you use them to spend on beats. So the more style you get, the better beats.
The more you can pick up, more during your downtime phase, right? Like you have the trouble points and you have the style points, right? You get them, you spend them. Where style you want to spend, but trouble points you have to spend, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's like heat from
exactly.
Blades in the Dark. You got to get rid of your
exactly.
heat. Yeah. Fame measures how successful and well known your crew is, and unlock new tiers and with new style points, allowing players to share their style points for the good of the crew.
So this is your crew level up stuff, right?
Yeah.
Going from tier 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Exactly. We also have Legacy, which represents the lasting accomplishments and relationships for slug blasting days. You gain it from downtime, beats, and crew perks, and this impacts your epilogue, which is the season finale.
Yeah. So the Doom, the Legacy, the bad, the good. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. We also have tricks. Tricks are the backbone of the style economy. We're talking big, risky tricks, not just practicing tricks on your driveway, because it's not. You gotta be able to show it off.
If you want trick points, you gotta go big.
Yeah, think Tony Hawk at the X Games kind of stuff. Here.
Exactly.
We're pulling off the first 900. Yeah, 'cause that's cool.
That's right.
You can spend it. You can spend kick to boost the amount of style you will get, and if you land it. There's a list of trick ideas on page 23, so even if you don't know anything about skateboarding or whatever, this type of thing you can just use as inspiration. I'm sure it's on a table, which you can probably roll on.
I mean, you could turn it to a table. It's a big list, right? So, they say, rotations, flip tricks, board grabs, rail tricks.
Okay.
It gives you an idea. Right? You don't need to use this. You can just make up your own thing, right? Right. Yeah. You want to do the slug blast to the face 540? There it is. There's your trick. That's what you're trying to do. It is what it is. Right?
Bam.
So
yeah.
Make it your own. It's stylized for you.
Exactly, because improv is the name of the game. Right.
All of it is designed to earn these points to get to the beats. Which is this is a very cool system. I really like the beats system, right? Because this is what drives the story in the game, right?
Yeah, it is, and it's these are the moments that you can purchase with your trouble and your style points to fuel the story. This is usually in the downtime phase. I think it's mostly in the downtime phase.
Pretty much. Well, you would be buying these in the downtime phase, basically.
Yeah,
right?
Almost exclusively. Each beat comes with a cost, which is the amount of style or trouble to clear to buy that beat.
Yeah, so let's say like trouble 2, so you need to take 2 trouble.
There are trouble cost beats that you can buy, which even if you can't afford them, you can take because, well, that's more trouble for you.
If you have 2 trouble and you want to take the 5 trouble beat, you can do it. But it's probably going to have a pretty hefty cost.
So these beats basically are how your character stories move forward and progress, right? Think of them as scenes. You did something cool, you made some trouble, you upset someone, you forgot about something. These all come crashing together to help push that narrative forward, further along that path, and opens up new stuff for you to explore.
Exactly. And they typically come in 2 forms, right? You've got the arc beats and the trait beats, where the arc beats are story focused, right? So everything's story focused, but think arc as in like a story, a character arc, right?
A story arc.
There's various types that exist. There's angst and crew and all these other things that exist in that space. They have to be bought in descending order. You need to start at the top and work your way down. You cannot just pick them at random, right? But also you can only buy 1 per arc per downtime. So you can't fill an entire arc in a single sitting, because that's not how this is supposed to work, right?
Because it's pacing.
Correct. We're building out a story, right? And the trait beats are your traits, right? That's what makes you. And there's some on the beats list, and each character personality has their own specific trait beats that you can spend on. And those ones are directly impactful to your story. So the arc beat may affect other people. The traits are for you and you specifically, and they're mixed in there. They're all throughout. There's loads of beats in that list. We're not going to get into all of them by any means, but very, very cool system.
Yeah. So each personality has their own arc, and personality is this game's class. I want to say, right? That's the best analogy for it. And so they each have their own arc. Let's say you're playing the crew's grit personality. Your arc has you trying something impossible and failing, taking you all the way up to where you want to quit, but eventually you persevere through and making it happen.
Yeah.
The story is built right in there for you to work off of it. It just helps you fill in the blanks,
and
right?
Something too that people were saying is that they'll build their arc and stop before the payoff, right? Like the part with the grit is like there's a point where the grit is at that breaking point, about to give up on everything. And that's where they're like, that's where the character stops. The character doesn't ever actually make it. This is now the point. This is where the grit actually, and that it's just so cool because you can then take that character and you can just really twist that story into what you want. Because maybe from that point forward, they become very dark, very twisted. They start getting, they stop believing in things. They really start leaning into the fact that like, well, what does it matter? I can't do this anyways, kind of thing, right?
Well, because the grit is one of those characters that's like known to get things done, right? That's their whole personality. They are there to get a job done, and they will finish that job. But if they don't, that just eats at them.
It's such a cool concept. I love that all the personalities have their own thing here too. So it's just really cool. Very, very cool system.
It is. It's beautiful. The beats are vague on purpose. So before you start thinking that the whole story is written in a book and we're just got to pick and add things in here for style. No. You get a prompt, and maybe you don't know exactly how that's going to fit in the story that you guys are telling right now, but it will pop up, and there'll be a chance for you to just kind of almost shoehorn that in, but you won't have to work that hard. It'll just pop up and be like, oh, this is what I'm doing now. And that's what's really cool about this, is that everybody has to get their own beat in to go. That's what drives this whole story, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's so cool.
So
I like it.
You got opportunities. You'll roll on this table on page 26. When different things come up in the arcs or the beats, you roll a 1d6 and add a modifier if relevant to determine what opportunities just presented itself and how it will fit in your story, such as number 5, Rager. You're invited to a festival, a secret club, or some other exclusive party with extra features and prizes. This slots into the arc or beat you rolled on it, and now you have yourself something to do on your run. So you are hitting up a rave.
An opportunity's presented itself. And off you go, right? This is now something that's part of the story. And keep in mind, we're rolling these, right? Like this isn't something you select.
It's completely
you could. Nobody's going to stop you. But the intention is that you roll a dice and something happens, right? This is why the GM doesn't know exactly what's going on, is because this is how the game's driving.
And what I like about the tables in Slugblaster is it's 2 columns.
Typically
tables.
2d6 columns, right?
Yeah, so you roll your first d6 to find one on one column, and then you roll your second d6 on the other column. So you got like a whole bunch of mixed match different things going on. Very nice. I love it when it when tables are like that.
So if you have opportunities and that's the positive, we have to have a negative too, right?
That's right. And these are challenges.
Yeah.
The GM is going to roll with relevant modifiers, of course, to see what kind of challenges present itself, such as number 3, the misunderstood. Your crew's brand or reputation is questioned. How did this happen? How can you set your record straight?
So you can see the GM's not telling you what happened. The GM's asking you questions. And as a table, we're coming together and we're coming up with the story. This is the Blades in the Dark, the John Harper piece. Right?
Yes, this is where John Harper shines.
Absolutely.
This kind of stuff. And this is where you can see
that emergent storytelling
the backbone
is just like
right there.
Love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Runs, as we mentioned before, runs are the meat of this game. This is where the action happens. This is the goal: a prize for reaching it, and one starting obstacle to overcome. Right? You roll 2d6 on the d66 table. Now, for those of you who don't know, a d66 is one's a 1 and one's
correct.
The tens
You mark them out. It works best if you have two different colored d6.
They're both d6s, and you got like from 11 to 66. It's very simple once you look at it. And this list of runs is going to help direct what's going to happen for this little leg of your game, right? After all that is said and done, we've done our
the season
runs,
is over.
We've gone through everything. We have the epilogue. This is like the ending to Breakfast Club or The Sandlot or any movies that have those lines at the bottom that says, John went on to graduate with honors at Harvard and runs the world's most successful alien firm.
Right, exactly.
Stuff like that. It's the conclusion to your cruise story. It may end on a low point or it may end on a high point, but every story does come to a close.
Which is really cool about this game because you don't realize it, but your character's in there like, this is it. This is their last kind of kick at adolescence and
having fun.
Yeah, because you're about to
hit the
about to
real
grow
world
up and get out into the real world, and that's the end of it, right?
Yeah.
So like the concepts that are in this game are larger than they appear on paper. And
for sure,
it gets deep.
The messaging in here is really good.
Yeah,
I was quite impressed and caught off guard by it because I was like, "What?" I mean, it's Slugblaster. The cover is goofy doofy neon colors with bubble aliens, right?
And I mean, like the idea is it's like Lords of Dogtown, right? Like you've got your crew, stuff happens, whatever is your end story, what the legacy you left behind or the doom that you left behind.
Exactly.
This is kind of where it all kind of comes crashing together. So very cool.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Okay, DG, we've gushed over this
we
enough,
have.
I think. Haven't we? Let's get into
how do we make a character? At page 40, by the way, if you're following along the book, you're looking for page 40. This is where you start your character creation journey.
That's right, folks. Half hour in, and we're only hitting page 40 here.
And the book is laid out beautifully too, like the thematic pieces of it.
I really like it. Yeah.
Love it.
So first off, we pick our personality. Now these are again our classes, sort of. They don't have any impact on what you can do, but they do define how you go about doing it. So the grit is going to do something different. They're going to approach a problem differently from the smarts, right? So we have the grit, we have the guts, we have the smarts, we have the heart, and we have the chill. And I love these class names because they are so cool. Mikey includes, I say our favorite, touchstones for each personality to really let you understand how this class is supposed to be played. Like the grit is Rocky Balboa, John McClane, and he gives like the references from the movies that they're from. Not everybody's seen all these movies, but
it's to give you an idea of like how to play this character, right? The intention with the grit is like you could literally be face down in the mud and push yourself up, get back up, and
you're going to
do it again.
Get back up and keep swinging. Yeah. Because that's why they're called personalities, right? Not classes.
Something I didn't see in the book, and I don't know if you caught this or not, was that if you can have a crew made entirely of grits, right? Because they talks about personalizing the characters, but I'm going to go out on a limb and assume that it should just be one in each group.
The way it kind of looked to me as I read through it, it benefited from the crew being
diverse.
Multiple different kinds of personalities rather than just
totally
one That's not to say,
and that's exactly it. That's kind of what I'm getting at. Is I didn't see anywhere in the book that it said you shouldn't. But with that being said,
I didn't see anywhere where it said should.
The recommendation from us would be somebody's the grit, somebody's the guts, somebody's the smarts, right?
I will say that when you are setting up your crew, and we'll get into this later, it does depend on certain personalities have final say of certain choices. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
After we have picked our personalities, we then decide on our looks, our family, and our bond to another PC. These are all on handy rollable tables on page 41. You following along? Very nice. I love
the
tables.
look, the family, and
Makes
the
life
bond.
easy.
It's all in there.
Yeah,
and that's really cool. I like it. I also like that for a look they really expanded it, and so you've got a 2d6 table here. You roll it twice, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Very cool.
It's nice because you can also pick and choose these tables, right? There's nothing saying that you have to roll them to be random. You're welcome to.
It's your
choose
character.
them.
You make it what you want it to be. But this will help you.
It'll
things
give
going.
you a lot of inspiration.
And sometimes it's nice just to create the character and go.
Yeah. Our vibe comes from our personality. There's also a table for rolling that. If you so choose. Then we pick our signature. Now, signatures are cool. I really like signatures. Signatures are not the scribble on the bottom of the check that nobody writes anymore. They are like a signature weapon that you use, that you've been
some kind of gear
of
sorts.
Yeah. Speaking of gear starts on page 56. Gear starts on page 52, not 56, silly. And it comes in a wide variety of forms. Again, first we have our signature, and it is also sometimes referred to as their setup. It is your go-to method for solving problems. There are some signatures starting on page 54 and finishing up on page 61. Each has a handful of looks you can choose from to get inspiration from, as well as some mods and descriptions of what those mods do and what they cost. Speaking of mods, these expand the functions and powers of your signature device. Each mod costs a certain number of components, and components are gained from runs in the form of prizes, with the in the lab beats, which are bought with your style and your trouble, and from certain opportunities, i.e. the GM session.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, this is the game's loot system, right? So you're going to get coils and discs and gems and stuff, and you're going to take those and you're going to hammer them into your gear,
and you're going to make something
to
really
get
cool.
something slick out of it, right?
Yeah. Next up, we have some gear each Slugblaster gets. You get a phone, you get a raygun, you get a hoverboard, and one personality-specific item, as well as 2 pieces of gear from pages 66 to 70, which is fairly thorough.
There's loads of choices here. And not only that, but there are, in addition to the boards, there is a BMX, there's laser blades, and then there's just shoes. They're just called free runners.
You're a free runner,
right?
baby.
So I thought that was really slick, that there's loads of different types of, most of them are boards, because that's how this is supposed to work.
Most of them are boards,
but
but you do have the option for a BMX bike or rollerblades.
And again, if you want your character to have something specific, work it out with your GM. I'm sure it won't be a problem.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter what type of board you have. It's the mods and the stuff.
No, it's all for thematics. Lastly, we slap some sick stickers on everything to accentuate our... No, I don't know if I'm saying this right. Riz. I think that's what the kids are calling it these days. Anyways, they are found on page 71. You can either roll random or pick just whatever makes float your boat.
Exactly.
Next, we start setting up our crew on page 72. Heck yeah,
It's
that's
the
a rhyme
crew
time.
on 72.
So we decide our brand, and these have some impact in the form of a +3 crew style, depending on different parameters. So we got shredders, hackers, good kids, punks, partiers, weirdos, couriers, ultranauts, underdogs, and this is where the personalities come in. The guts gets the final say on what the brand. You also have the option of waiting until after your first run to brand up. As well, there is a chance to rebrand once you become up and comers with your fame. Next up, we choose 2 hangouts from the page on 73. The chill has the final say of those. We get a starting perk from either masks or advanced portal tech. The grit has final say on that. Don't ask me what those do.
I mean, the thing is, they were outlined previously on the pages. We skipped over all the gear that's in here because there's lots, right? Yeah. But the idea here is that does your crew wear these masks, or do they have upgraded portal tech? You don't get both, so you get one or the other, right? It's just and you can upgrade down the road. This is just what you're starting with, right?
I apologize. Finney did a little bit of skimming.
There's loads of gear in this book, right? Like there's lots of stuff in there. And I would definitely most definitely encourage you to go and review through those pieces. We can't go through each individual.
No, because we're not actually playing the game. We're telling you guys how to play the game.
This isn't a live play podcast. This is a sharing podcast.
That's right. After that, we decide on some budding friendships and rivalries with other factions and their standings towards us. There's a list on page 73 as well.
And that's really cool because this one here goes through the GM picks this, the grit picks that, the guts picks this, the smarts picks that. So this is really cool that you've got
I like that.
Specifics from the group. Everyone gets a turn, right?
It's the whole party picking out how their crew looks towards other factions. It's very cool. We snag onto that map, and each player draws one-way portal connections between 2 neighboring worlds. The smarts draws 2 of these. Now, I had a little bit of trouble finding the map because it's just a black and white. But it is there. They identify, like, there's a whole section of the world on starting on page 80, and we can get a little bit more in depth into that. But keep in mind, we're not talking about a city like Blades in the Dark was. We're talking about the multiverse. This is endless amounts of spots, right? Exactly.
So the map is in quotations. There's a map, there's stuff, but in all reality, there's endless amounts of stuff to get to.
Exactly. But you do have to
be able to connect from A to B
all the way around there. Yeah. So you could just do circles, touching things. I mean,
it's your choice. Your game, your choice.
I will say there are, because like many things in life, this was a Kickstarter with goals. It did come with a whole bunch of bonus worlds that were from Kickstarter, like backers.
Stretch goal stuff.
So there's a whole bunch of stretch goal stuff in there that didn't actually make it onto the map.
Very cool.
Very cool. Getting back to it. Lastly, we name our crew and decide on some defining colors that we wear. There's a E66 table that has a bunch of crew ideas to inspire you or to choose from. The heart has the final say.
Very cool. Again, you have the ability to very quickly create a crew, right? There's no arguing at the table. We're going to work our way through. You roll this, you roll that, you roll this. The heart's got the final say on the decisions. Yeah. And we're done.
The heart goes, that doesn't feel quite right.
Yeah.
Roll it again. Yeah. The setting of Slugblasters starts on page 80 and gives a description of the null and hill view, which is your default home. The book lays out some bonus hometowns as well because, hey, Kickstarter, that old stuff, as well as multiple worlds of the multiverse and that you'll be blasting through, and a little blurb on There is a Monsterpedia.
There
DG.
is. I was really happy to hear that there is a entire section in this book specific for monsters. Because I got to tell you,
and
the last few games we've played hasn't had nothing.
I know, and I apologize for that. So the Monsterpedia starts on page 118 and gives a decent amount of monsters to work with, as well as a create your own monster page that has your roll on some tables, and bing bang, you have your own monster to work with. Because remember, these monsters don't have stats. Neither do the players. We don't have stats here. It's just hit or not hit.
It's more about identifying what it is than it is creating what it has. The monsters have something that they're strong against and something that they're weak against. But at the end of the day, if they hit, they hit. There's nothing else. Like if a monster hits you, you get hit. That's how it works. That's really cool. I do dig that.
Yeah. I do. It's nice. Factions are on page 126 and covers the different rival-friendly crews that you'll probably bump into in the verse. There are also authorities to avoid, sponsors to catch the eye of, as well as different crowds that you'll interact with. All of these have some notable NPCs for the players to interact with or know.
Yeah, I really like that there are... there's the crew of people, the parents that are like the church people who are like, oh, won't somebody please think of the children, right? Like it's really, really funny. There's a lot of humor in this book, I really recommend taking a really good close look through this. That
and slug blasting by definition in this book is a less than legal activity. It's frowned upon.
It's the group in the game is called the Doorways, right? The parent group concerned with the negative effects of slug blasting on the teenage population. At its best, this coalition of involved parents provides education, supervision, and safety equipment to young people. At its worst, it's a mob of torch-waving soccer moms burning piles of Slugblaster magazines and protesting near portal zones. It's just really cool. There's lots of awesome stuff in here, and very much worth
there really is. There's a how-to GM section, and that starts on page 144. And this covers your basic GM stuff, as well as some best practices specific for Slugblaster, which I really appreciate, because there's one like jumping. For the pacing, you can skip all the hubbub and just jump straight into the action, or jump straight into the end of the action where the crew is got their mitts full of loot and they're running, and all of a sudden, bam, we're in the action now, guys. Things are going down fast.
Exactly. Talk about hitting the ground running, right? I like the GM section. It is your stereotypical GM section. So you're getting your GM stuff. If you've GM'd before,
you're getting all that stuff.
You're going to feel fine and at home here. Check out the specifics and move on with your life. But they keep it quick and punchy, and that's something that I did like about it. And it's not a very long section either, right? Like, I mean,
no, not compared to some of the other ones.
Like, honestly, you're talking about pages 144 to basically like 160. So you got 24 pages entirely to make up the entire GM section. So nothing too crazy.
And even if you are a long-time GM, I would recommend it it gives some examples of how to do things Slugblaster, esque, and how to keep the story going and how to ground it. Specifically, it says in there that these are teenagers that you guys are playing, so they don't kill things.
Exactly.
There's no killing. There's no dying. They're getting rescued, and they don't kill things, right? They hurt them or they run away.
Yeah, which is something I really like about this game, right? Like I said, it's so different from other TTRPGs, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not go and swing your blade as fast as you can, lob off heads left, right, and center. There is rules for solo play on page 172. This details how to run the game just for yourself, including a set of custom problems and achievements, as well as a personality known as the loner. So sad.
There is a little bit. It's actually looks like a little bit earlier than 172. I see it on 160. So that might have been my bad in the. That might be my bad in the notes. I think I wrote 172 because that's where the loner character starts.
That's fair.
But yeah, 168 talks about solo Slugblaster and gives you the expanded rule set for that. Which this was a really cool ad. If you want me to buy your book, give me this option in your book. Give me the ability to hack the game so that I can play it solo, because there's a high, like a 99% chance I will run through this game solo before I will get a group together to play it easily.
Exactly. It makes it easier for me to know how to pitch this game to my crew or my gaming table if I've played a little bit of it myself. Now, we don't always have another table that we can go to play these games, so solo play is the next best thing. Yeah. I will say, right before the solo play section, he does have a section on hacking this game.
Yeah. Yeah, the 164 is where it starts on how to change this game.
Which would probably be about the same as the Blades in the Dark. How to hack
which good on them.
Which
thank you for doing that.
I love. I really like. I like it when authors do that because it makes it really, really friendly. And last but not least, we have our glossary, which starts on page 174. This has a layout of everything you need to know. You need to look up. All the quirky terms.
The last
are in
page
there.
has the rundown of if you are a D&D player, here's the things you need to know. If you're a Blades in the Dark player, here's the things you need to know. And that was a nice touch.
Just a slight.
Really liked having that in there because, again, it's just all designed to get you going quickly. Like, we're talking 175 pages total on this game. Like, that is a short book considering everything that's in here.
It is. Right? Yeah. Considering how big this game is. That was
short book.
That's a short book.
So yeah, I mean, that's basically it for running through the books. Finney, what are you thinking about Slugblaster, man? I was a bit surprised to hear that you didn't. I thought this was one that you had your eye on for a while. So, for you to have found it randomly too. I mean, lucky for me that you found this randomly because I would have never found it. But.
Yeah. Well, that's what this podcast's all about. I love this one. And it's not just because it's a Blades in the Dark hack. I mean, I am a fanboy, but it's great because this hits that chill, fun TTRPG experience that we all shoot for at our tables. It's quick to jump into, and another one of those story-led games that the GM doesn't steer, they contribute by reacting to what the players are. This is definitely one that goes onto my shelf because it's got art. And the artwork, artwork is crazy, and I love it, and I'm there for it. Also, there are some ads, some fake ads really cool. through there, and I love those.
The theme's on point.
How about you?
What a cool concept for a TTRPG, right? Like, honestly, like this one really, really speaks to me because it's just such a unique concept. I love that it's about friendship and growing up, and it's just like it's this non-standard TTRPG. I was immediately in when the game was about being the coolest skateboarding crew that you possibly could be, and it wasn't about going to another dimension, fighting off aliens and coming home, right? Don't get me wrong. I love my TTRPGs of all flavors, but with this one being so wildly different from any of the other ones that I've ever played, it just makes it that much more likely that I will put this one on my table before another TTRPG, right? Honestly, like this is one that I'd like to get a group in to play like a long form campaign. I would like to do one full season of this of Slugblaster, right? Like I would really like to get a whole thing from start to finish, go through that. You absolutely nailed it. The art in this book, like we've been starving for art in the last couple episodes, I gotta tell you. And this one delivered. There's quite a few people, quite a few artists are identified.
A lot of them. Yeah, there's like 10 or
quite
12
a few.
of them.
And again, I liked the fake ads in the book. You know, that was also cool too. I don't know, everything about the layout, the theme, everything about this book. I really love it. This one's a 100% for me. Like, it's no wonder why this game had won the awards, right? Like it was nominated for best game and best art, right? And then ultimately,
yes, it was at the Ennies,
which is that's like that is the thing. And it was named Game of the Year at the 2023 IDGN Groundbreaker Awards, right? So cool and well done, Mikey
Very
Ham.
cool.
Well done, because that's well wicked. Done. So yeah, this is one of my
like to shake your hand one day, and
I want this one on my table, 100%. This one is is a very cool game.
Heck yeah.
Well, I guess that means it leaves only one thing left, and that is the postpod. 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 Went for the down up.
Yeah.
A little
I like
sine
that.
wave.
A little swing at the end.
Vinny, I threw the postpod question in today. I am genuinely curious as to how you feel when you're running the game. How do you feel about players talking at the table while your game is going on?
Ooh, that's one.
Yep.
Personally, as long as it is not overly distracting and overly intrusive,
absolutely,
I'm okay with it. Like if two people at the back end of the table are you know, it's not their turn, they're not in the room hearing what's going on. If they want to have a small conversation back and forth quietly to each other, that's fine. If you're yelling across the table at the top of your voice while something's going on,
I get that.
But as long as it's not intrusive and distracting,
100%,
go for it.
Yeah,
that's how I feel.
I completely agree. Right, like if it's not disrupting the game, I'm fine. Go for it. Right. I think that the best gaming comes from camaraderie. You get camaraderie from talking with each other. That's how it works. I'm in the same boat. If I'm not involved in the scene, if my character wouldn't know the information being spoken about right now, I think that's open season for me to have conversations with the other person who's in the same boat, as long as that's something that they want to do. If we're being quiet, we're being respectful, and we're not interrupting the game. I think there's nothing more dangerous and destructive to a game than silencing the people at your table. Because when you silence the people at your table, all of a sudden you've changed the vibe in the room, and now they're not playing at the place that they want to be playing at, right? It's your role as a DM to keep people entertained at the table. I think it's also your role as the DM to understand that it is impossible to keep 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 people at your table, however many of the people are around it, entertained 100% of the time. And to make it okay to discuss. That's
impossible.
If you're discussing game mechanics and stuff like that, strategizing or whatever, that's part of the game. And I think that should be encouraged. Yep. If you're talking about the hockey game that took place last night and has nothing to do with the game and it's being distracting, that's the time the DM should stand up and say, hey, don't do that no more. Right?
Yeah. I will say that, yes, as long if your character's not in the room and is not expected to know that knowledge, but you should be listening with a half ear so you get the gist of what's going on, because that character that's having that scene is going to come back and they're going to be like, I just repeat all
and that's the cop out, and I hate it, right? I hate it, because the thing is that I know I did my job correctly. If I tell you, be sure to go out and tell them the bugbear's coming through the woods at precisely 10:55. Yes. And if you come out of that room and you tell me, I just repeat all of that stuff. Me as the DM should be stopping you in that moment, being like, no, you need to repeat what you were told. intention there is twofold. One, to make sure that the person who is listening actually got the message that I told, and two, to help preserve player integrity and the immersion of the game, right? Because you could say, just repeat it. Sometimes that is what it is. There's just too much information. The intention is, look, we're going to say this once, you're all listening, and you're all going to get to that point. But certain times I really think the table benefits by having the players reproduce the information, not the DM constantly regurgitating it, right? And as a player, it's your responsibility to make sure you get that information correct. It makes me as a GM feel best when I say something to a player and that player cares enough about my world and what I say to be able to repeat it verbatim back to another player. That means that I've at least captured your attention enough to get you to this point, right? So, it's twofold. I completely understand. There's times when it's just like, I say what he said, and that's fine.
Because it's too much to repeat. A lot has happened, But if it's simple instructions...
Quite often in my games, you'll see me testing players to make sure that they were listening, right? And I have a tendency to call out the ones that I know weren't listening and get them to repeat it, right? Like, I would be the world's worst teacher, right? Like, could you repeat that to the class in front of everybody so that you have to say, I wasn't paying attention? It's like, exactly, now pay attention. So it's one of those things, but yeah, absolutely. I'm fine with you talking at my table, but when it's time to listen, you better be listening.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, that's it. That's all.
Folks.
Slugblaster, fantastic game. Listen, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in, streaming this, downloading this, however it is that you got your hands on a copy of this podcast. We do appreciate you listening to it. We put this podcast out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and on YouTube. And the address for that YouTube is youtube.com/@DadGamingOnline, which is the same channel that you can also find our D&D game that we stream every single Sunday night. You can also find that stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/DGOnline.
We also have an email that you can reach out to us with, and it is mastersofpenandpaper@gmail.com. All words, no symbols. We also have a Discord server that you guys are welcome to join. That is going to be in the description below this. Pop in. DG and I hang out there quite often. We just kind of visit with everybody, and there's lots of good conversations.
Our own little corner of the internet designed for questions about TTRPG. Suggestions for games, if you got them. Anything like that, let us know.
Please send us. I need to fill my library up. I just got a new hard drive.
We need more games.
We need more.
Bring them on. And that's it. That's all.
Okay,
Episode 32 is now in the bank. 33 is going to be the next one in a couple weeks, so make sure to tune in for that. And until then, thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time.
Take care, everyone.